So we have an interesting story, and I want black people in New York to really listen to this story because this affects you, not the rest of us. But your attorney general, her name is Letitia James. Now, she is the top law enforcement person in the state of New York. Now, she has launched a hotline for, they say, New Yorkers to report hate crimes, discrimination amid rising reports of anti-Asian harassment amid the coronavirus outbreak. So her office said in a statement that the hotline, which started March 23rd, will continue indefinitely, will help provide resources to victims that could lead to civil investigations. Local law enforcement is ultimately responsible for any criminal prosecution. So let's get this straight. If she would have set up this hotline when she got in the office, I wouldn't have nothing to say. But I want black people to notice all the special concessions that's happening when this group deal with discrimination and bigotry and racism. How we got to run and fall all apart and do all kind of things for them. Give them special legislation just for them. Notice that they quickly have no problem giving tangibles to people of Chinese descent or Asian descent. But the moment you ask as a black person for any kind of tangible, notice it's a problem. Notice that they don't even want to say the word black or African American. Notice when you want something, it has to be for everybody. But when it's other groups, it's specifically for them with their name on it. But they can respect them and give them something tangible. But no, we can't do that. The only way you can get it, it has to be for everybody. You understand? And then what is New York? A Democrat conclave. I have to call it what it is. And for the people that, and I'm going to say that because I'm getting tired of it, for the slow people that's going to listen, I'm not a Republican, don't like the Republican Party. If I'm going to lean anyway, it's going to be a black or African American independent. I don't allow my thoughts to be relegated to one train of thought. I refuse to. That's not freedom to me. That's not thinking for yourself. But for over 400 years, black people in this country have been dealing with racism, bigotry, discrimination. We can't even grow the hair out of our head. New York City recently just come out where you couldn't discriminate against black people's hair. Now, from what I have looked at and I have been studying, the discrimination that Asian people are dealing with, particularly Chinese people, more than anyone else are dealing with, is because of the coronavirus. And it's been going on, maybe a little over a month. And oh my God, they are not dealing with it very well. But see, in this country, it's okay to treat black people any kind of way, to discriminate against us on jobs, beat on us in these nail salons and beauty shops and anything else that you have done to black people. I didn't see the same hotline where Mr. Lee was punching Keisha in the nail salon. I didn't see the same hotline when Miss Lung was stopping a black girl from leaving her beauty supply store and locking her in there because she accused her of stealing something that she possibly didn't even have. We've seen stores that didn't even have anything. See, we didn't see no hotlines for that. When that Red Apple nail salon video came out, we didn't see no hotlines to report that. We didn't see any of that. See, anything that happens to black people, we get no hotlines. We get nothing. But yet, when it happens to Chinese people or other Asian people, all of a sudden now it's a hotline. You're gonna prosecute, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. Now, let's say this up front. No one, including myself, supports any bigotry, racism, or whatever else toward anybody. No one supports that. But come on, man. What you're doing, you are really slapping every black American in the face in the state of New York by saying that on March 23rd, I'm going to set this up for those people, but I'm not going to do it for black people. Now, see, like I said, I'm going to repeat this again. If she would have set this up when she got into office, I would have nothing to say. It wouldn't even be a video out of me right now. But because she decided to set this up because of what they are going through right now, that's a problem. And every black person in the state of New York, it should be a problem for you. It should be a big problem for you, because that isn't right. That is, once again, proving to you that you are a fifth-class citizen in a country that your ancestors built, because they didn't build America. They was imported in here. Your ancestors built America. And yet they can get special treatment over you. So I guess that's what we're going to do now. We're just going to get hotlines. There's other groups of people that have dealt with discrimination as well in New York that I know of for sure. I know people who are in the Puerto Rican community, Dominicans, Haitians, Jamaicans, all kind of other people that I know of that even watch this show that have told me about discrimination they've dealt with in New York, and they didn't come up with no hotline for them either. But what makes this group so special? Why is it that you're prioritizing them over everybody else? That's a form of discrimination too, Miss James. That is a form of discrimination. When you say the racism or bigotry against them is so important that you got a hotline, but you didn't do it for no one else. So I guess what, black people supposed to go to hell? See, this is what I told you guys many times before, especially on Instagram. Slaves are only there to make sure that they serve others. They don't serve themselves. And they do serve themselves with being selfish and getting money. But I'm talking about serving the community. They will not ever serve the community. This is, to me, this is sick. And every black person in the state of New York, you need to tweet her. You need to ask her what makes these people so special and what's wrong with us. Why didn't you set this up for black people to report police brutality, to report anything that's happening to us with racism? Why didn't you support this? Why didn't you set this up for us? You have every right to ask her that and get a response out of her. She's a public official. She was voted in. Some of you probably even voted for her. So she should have a response for you to let you know why they're more important than everyone else in the state of New York. I'm sorry, they're completely wrong. And once again, for people that don't listen very well, I got to do this. No one is supporting bigotry, racism, physical attacks, or anything against nobody. No one should be doing that to nobody. Keep your hands to yourself. Social distancing should have been a thing forever. I mean, I practice that a lot on my own, so it's not hard for me to practice it now. But what we're saying is when black people are dealing with those issues and problems forever, no hotline from the black attorney general. But when it happens to Asians, now one gets set up. I think she should be asked about this, and she should be made to give some sort of reasoning for this, why they are more special than black people in the state of New York. Well, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the situation that's happening in New York with your attorney general. But like I said, this coronavirus situation is exposing so many things. I'm telling you, it's getting interesting by the day.